Hey friends, it's Eloisa here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 healthy ways to activate your feminine energy. And I'm just going to say that these are super special because they're life-changing. They changed my life and that's why I want to share them with you. And a little bit of backstory before we get into it. If you know my story, then you know a couple years ago I was severely burned out. I was in a pretty dark place and having thoughts that, quite frankly, I didn't want to be having. Health-wise, I had cystic hormonal acne, I was about 15 pounds heavier, and my hair was falling out. For me, feminine energy isn't just like wearing dresses and looking cute and being beautiful and knowing how to talk to boys, like all of that kind of stuff. No, to me, it's really being able to connect to, as a woman, connect to the essence of who you are, like your spirit, your soul, who God made you to be, because then you can really live and walk and what feels best for you, which I think is most important in this lifetime. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So like I said, these are going to be health tips. So I highly recommend getting your notes app out on your phone or a little piece of paper and writing these down because these are pretty good and we're gonna go pretty deep. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to say is to sleep more. And what I'm gonna emphasize here is sleep more than the men in your life. A lot of guys, from my experience, can run off of 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours of sleep. And then what I see from my friends and myself, a lot of women, we need more sleep. Also read about that in some hormone books, which I linked in one of my other videos. I'll link it up here. But if you really look at the science behind sleep, it's super important for all living creatures and all human beings. Basically, when you sleep, that's when your body renews itself. So not only does it renew itself, but it also basically takes out all the old cells and all the junk and all the toxic waste in your brain and on different parts of your body, and really starts moving it towards your detox pathways. And so what happens is when you don't sleep, all of that toxicity builds up. And most importantly, it builds up in your brain. And so one thing is a lot of people experience irritability and mood swings when they're sleepy. They'll be grouchy and you really just don't feel your best. You're not as alert. I remember watching this one study in one of my classes in university where they compared a drunk driver to someone who was sleep impaired or who had been not getting good sleep, and the way that they drove and their attention to detail and ability to react to things was very similar. So that being said, get your sleep, and especially if you're a woman, just figure out what sleep number works best for you. It's like how many hours you need to fill your optimal amount, and take your rest. And if you know about hormones and the different hormonal fluctuations through the month, then you know that as you get closer to your period, when you're in your luteal phase and getting closer to menstruation, even the first couple days of menstruation, you need a lot more sleep during that time. And it's because your body is preparing itself to either be pregnant or either, like, you know, do its thing on your moon cycle. One, I would say, is have a good night routine that's gonna ensure that you get to bed on time and that you're comfortable, but then also honor your body when you're feeling sleepy throughout the day. So for me, a lot of times during my work day, like after lunch, I'll kind of get sleepy. And so I'll actually go and take like a 15-20 minute nap during my work day. And I have the luxury to do that, which I'm so thankful for. But even presidents do that. A lot of CEOs do that. They take naps and they wake up feeling refreshed. So the first thing is to help activate your feminine energy is to get the rest that you need so you can perform at your optimal level. And honestly, that really helps your mood. And so you'll probably be happy in your body and happier with yourself and with those around you. Get your sleep. Number 2 is to get tested for allergies. Now, this is something that you may need to save your money up for, or hopefully it's covered by your insurance. For me, I did a blood test through one of my doctors. And let me just let you know right now to make sure you find a holistic doctor. So someone who is medically trained but then also has the ability to, or at least the interest, to try to treat things and help you have optimal health versus just preventing sickness. So find a good holistic doctor. I'll link mine in the description box below, Dr. Rodshri. She's actually here on YouTube too, so check out her videos. But back to allergies. So you want to get the blood test, and let me just say, they take a lot of blood. Especially if you have a good doctor, they're gonna take a lot of blood because they are gonna test all of the top allergens as well as some of the lesser known allergens. Basically, they go and you get your blood and they test it for all the top stuff. So that's like wheat, dairy, eggs, peanuts, all of those things that people are usually allergic to, they're gonna test for that. Now, you may be saying, well, I can eat all of these different types of foods and nothing really, I mean, like, I don't break out in hives, my throat doesn't swell up, like I don't need an EpiPen, so why should I test for allergies? Well, the way that my doctor described it to me is that there's different levels to allergies. There's like the deathly allergic, and then all the way down to like a mild irritation, but still considered like a level, I think a level 3 or level 4 allergy. And so some of these things that you may be eating, they may be huge staples in your diet, and as you continue eating them, they're causing this low-grade inflammation in your body. But if it's over years and years and years, then you start to develop other symptoms, including potentially an autoimmune disease, or something like, with me, like cystic acne that just doesn't go away because your body's trying to get rid of stuff, bloating, just mood swings, all of those different types of things. And so you'll just kind of constantly be bothered but not know why, not really know what to do, to the point where you're just living with it and you're just chilling with it, okay? But when you get tested for your allergies and you cut those foods out, it's like the sky is bluer, the sun is brighter, you feel more beautiful, like you enjoy your family more, like you're just a happier person overall. And it's crazy to me because I didn't realize how irritated and bothered I actually was by eating some foods that I was allergic to until I actually cut them out. Getting tested for allergies is super important, and I highly recommend the blood test. I know there's a lot of different types of tests. There's like different skin ones that you can do, but I found the blood test to be super helpful to me. And it's crazy because, story time, I found out that I had a low-grade allergy. I was allergic to eggs, almonds, avocados, and tomatoes, among other things. So my doctor had me cut all those things out for 2 weeks, and I felt so much better. But the crazy thing is that me trying to be healthy, before I knew this, my breakfast every single day for at least the last like 2 years was an almond flour tortilla, like a paleo tortilla, in a taco. Inside the taco, I'd put scrambled eggs, avocado, and tomatoes, or like tomato salsa. And I would eat like 2 of those for breakfast every single day because they're fast, they're delicious, and I felt like they were healthy because you get your protein, you get your fat, you get a little bit of carbs, right? It doesn't spike your insulin levels. But I didn't know that this was actually causing this low-grade inflammation in my body. And so once I actually took it out, I noticed huge changes. Like my deep cystic acne slowly started to go away. My moon cycle, my period was easier, and just overall I felt a lot better. I also lost some weight, and I stopped being as bloated and didn't have as many digestive issues as I did previously. Issues that I just thought were normal that you're supposed to live with, but not realizing that I just actually had this low-grade inflammation going on. This is something that's gonna take a little bit of an investment, investing in your health. For me, part of my insurance covered part of the tests, and then I had to pay out of pocket for the others. So what I recommend is either like putting it on a credit card and paying it off later, or saving your money up for it and then doing these tests. And then because you paid for it, make sure you actually follow through and cut these things out for like at least 2 weeks and see if you feel different. Another thing you can do if you don't want to pay for it is an elimination diet. It just takes a lot longer. You just basically eliminate the top allergens for 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks you invite, where you like eat one of them, you add it back to your diet, and if you have a reaction, then you know, okay, I'm allergic to that. But with these low-grade allergies, I highly recommend doing a blood test. How is this going to make you feel more feminine and have better feminine energy? It's because you're not going to be so grumpy all the time, and you're not going to be having all these different health issues. You're going to be able to spend time actually using your energy for things that are beautiful and that are going to help you create a better life for yourself and those around you. So get tested for allergies. Number 3 is regular massage. So you may be thinking, that's bougie, I can't get massages on the regular because they're at least $110 in an hour of my time. Good news is you can do self-massage. So getting a regular massage, for me, that's something that I'd always wanted to do, but as I started to build my business and learning how to budget, I realized, you know what, I'm gonna add regular massages into my monthly budget. Even if that means I have to decrease my budget when it comes to eating out at restaurants, or if I have to decrease my budget in how much money I'm saving up for a new car. That's something that I really value in my health, and I notice makes a humongous difference in not only how I feel on the outside and on the inside with my muscles and everything, but also just my stress levels. It really lowers them and is something that I look forward to each month. So regular massage, how is this like a healthy thing to do? So one, obviously it's good for your mental. It helps relax you, especially if you have a good masseuse and they listen to you when you say go softer, go harder. The second thing is it helps move around your lymph. So lymph is a fluid that's underneath your skin, and it basically, the only way that it can move to help eliminate toxins is if it's physically moved. So you can do this through exercise, or you can do it by jumping on a trampoline. But one way you can do it is by getting a lymphatic drainage massage, which is a really light massage. And they pump like your different lymph nodes and stuff, and you feel really good and you're kind of slimmer afterwards. But it moves your lymph around and helps you eliminate those toxins easier, and it's manual. Another thing too is it helps loosen up and make your fascia more flexible. So your fascia is something that's you can think of it sort of like a muscle. It's not a muscle, but it's like fibers. As you stop moving and as you get older, your fascia becomes more stiff and tangled. Ways to make sure that you have healthy fascia is by keep moving. So stretching, yoga, Pilates, just having an active lifestyle is one way. But another way to help your fascia is through actual physical massage, because it helps loosen up those knots. That's why you see like older people, and even like myself, like the other day I had a knot in my back and I couldn't turn my neck. It was really bad. But that's a muscle, but it's also fascia. Make sure that you keep your lymph and your fascia healthy. And then yeah, it's also just something that you can look forward to mentally. I know sometimes I'll go into a massage and feel like, oh, this is something that I have to do. I shouldn't have booked it at this time. I have to finish working. I have all these stressors adding up. But then I go in and I'm like, okay, you go in, you have your normal massage lady that you love to see each month, and you tell her where like it hurts in your back, or if your feet feel tight, or if you've been working out your quads or whatever, and she really helps loosen that up. And I know after massages with the right person, I always feel a lot better. I feel relaxed, I feel more flexible. I'll have like a boost of energy sometimes, and definitely a boost in my mood. So regular massage is a way to help activate your feminine energy and really help you feel grounded and more at peace. Like I said, I know massages in the US can be very expensive depending where you live. And so another option is to do self-massage. And so a good way to do that is by making sure that you are in like a comfortable place. And I love to do this after a shower or after a bath. And you just get like your favorite lotion. Like I like to use like an unscented lotion or an oil, and you moisturize your body, but you really take your time. So you take your time like on your legs and your calves, around your knees, your quads, your hamstrings, like all of your skin. Like you just really make sure that you like massage it out and take extra time doing that. And because it's free, and if you have the time and if you make the time to do it, it's something that you can actually do like once a week. and that's something I want to start doing once a week. And something else I want to add to my routine is face massages, like with gua sha, but basically like helping like sculpt your face, but also helps with the lymphatic drainage up here too, and helps with swelling. So not only does it make you feel a lot better, but massage also makes you look better, which is like, I guess it's a plus, so yay, try it. Alright, so the fourth thing is to decrease toxic products. Why is this related to feminine energy? Well, a lot of toxic products have fragrances and things in them called endocrine disruptors. So basically an endocrine disruptor is a fancy name for a chemical that basically F's up your hormones and will disturb things like fertility. It hurts your fertility and it hurts just everything that hormones do in your body and kind of confuses them and messes them up or puts them on pause. Like, it's pretty bad. So a lot of household products, especially in the United States, have these endocrine disruptors in them, as well as carcinogens, so chemicals that are known to cause cancer. And the crazy thing is like I'm currently in Bali right now and I've been here for the last 4 months or so, and I notice a huge difference in just the products and things that I use here versus back at home in the United States. If you are curious about toxic products and you're like, hey, you know what, I feel like my hormones are messed up. My period is off. I have hormonal acne. I have mood swings. I have unexplained weight gain that I can't lose. If you have any of those things, then I highly recommend decreasing your toxic load. How do you actually make this practical? Download the EWG app, the Environmental Working Group app. And it basically has a little camera, and you can scan every barcode of like your different beauty products and household cleaners and all that stuff, and it tells you on a scale of 1 to 5 how toxic or how less toxic it is. That's something that for me has been really helpful, and it's actually surprising because you'll see things that are super toxic that happen to be like products for babies. It's like, wow, babies are really filling up their toxic load young, right? So what I highly recommend is to get the app and scan your products in your house. Once you're done using it up, one, you can toss it, but also if you don't want to be wasteful, you can finish using it and then just don't purchase it again, and then find a good alternative for that. So the cool thing about the EWG app is that it actually will give you alternatives that have a lower toxic load. Sometimes they can be super pricey, like bougie, fancy stuff that's like vegan and organic and da-da-da-da. But other times you'll realize that there are brands of things that are just like they have less sexy advertising and marketing. So one soap that I like to use like a Dove unscented soap bar, because it has a lower toxic load than the other soap bars that have fragrance in them. And so that's like a very affordable soap versus like another soap. There's like Dr. Bronner's, and Dr. Bronner's is pretty pricey for soap. A little does go a long way, but they're both soap. They do the same exact thing, and so based on your price range, you can choose what works best for you. Once you actually start diving into how toxic some of these products are and different things in your home, you may get freaked out, but don't worry, that doesn't mean you have to throw everything away. What I personally do, because I don't want to just live my life based off what this app tells me what to do, is I do my best, but if there's a product that maybe I can't live without this. For example, you may have a favorite deodorant that keeps you smelling fresh and delicious all the time, and you just really don't want to get rid of it because natural deodorants make you stanky. I recommend keeping that favorite deodorant, but then finding other areas that you can lessen your toxic load. So maybe switch out your soap for something unscented, or stop using perfume and switch to essential oils, or instead of spraying perfume on your skin, spray it on your clothes. So there's a lot of different ways that you can decrease your toxic load. So that's something that I highly recommend. Along with that is also switching out your shower filter, because a lot of water in the States has fluoride in it, which is actually fluoride can be good for certain things, like making sure you don't get cavities. But fluoride, if you have like a compromised like hormonal system, like an impaired thyroid, then it actually impairs your thyroid even more. So just depending on your own health and where you're at, you can decide, okay, I want to get a shower filter, I want to get a whole filtration for my house, I want to get an air purifier for my room when I sleep at night, or I want to decrease my toxic load with products. You figure out whatever works best for you, but I'm just letting you guys know this so that you can help yourself and help kind of get connected back to your feminine energy and reactivate it. Because if there's an actual chemical that's blocking your fertility, for example, then that's obviously blocking your feminine energy, because as a woman, we are fertile and we're able to get pregnant and have babies. But if there's a chemical that's toxic, that's blocking your ability to do that, not only is it stopping you from being able to be fertile, but it's also stopping other hormonal systems within your body, which is kind of sad. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It really doesn't feel good when you're in that place. So hopefully this message gets to the right person. But yeah, the fourth thing is to decrease your toxic load to help activate your feminine energy. Fifth way to reactivate your feminine energy is to practice cycle syncing. What is cycle syncing? So basically, as a woman, you are on a 28-day, give or take a couple days, cycle, right? And sometimes it's like connected to the moon, sometimes it's not. But basically, that's like all the different phases that you go through and your body goes through that eventually like ends like with your period, right? Or pregnancy. So I highly recommend. This was life-changing for me, and the way I found out about it was when I decided to get off of birth control for the first time after a couple years. My body changed like crazy, and I was like, what is going on here? But the more that I read, and I have recommended some books, so I'll link them up here, but the more that I read and the more podcasts I listened to and doctors that I spoke to, I learned that my body, or all of us as women, our bodies are on a cycle, right? So first you have your follicular phase, and that is like, I think that's like the springtime or something, where you're like, woo, yeah, this is great, this is fun. Follicular phase, you have a high energy, you are more outwardly focused, so you can have like that's when you do your meetings, your presentations, your job interviews, you go on dates, you go dancing, all that kind of stuff. You need less sleep than usual. And so that's your follicular phase. It's my favorite phase, because I wish I lived in that phase. And then you have the next phase, which is ovulation, which is basically during that 5 to 7 days, your body can get pregnant. So that's when you be careful, you wear protection, all that kind of stuff. And if you don't want to have a baby, but if you want to have a baby, then that is the best time to try to make it happen. And so ovulation is even more, you have even more energy, you may feel more attractive, like your hair just happens to look good, the sun is shining, the sky is bluer, you're just feeling great if you're healthy. So that's ovulation. And then if you happen to not get pregnant during that time, then you go into the luteal phase. And so in the luteal phase, that's kind of like the winter. And so your energy levels start to drop. You may be able to start holding on to more water weight, and you kind of may be bloating. That's when you may experience PMS. PMS is very common, but it's not normal. And your body has different nutritional needs during each of these phases. And then, as you know, you go into menstruation or your period or your flow, your bleed. And you need a lot of sleep during that time. You need a lot of iron, and you need to remineralize your blood and all of that kind of stuff. And you may be low energy, a little bit more cranky and moody or self-conscious. So that is a little quick and dirty breakdown of your cycle. I highly recommend reading the books that I recommend up here, because they really go into what your body needs in each phase of your cycle. And the most awesome thing is that your brain changes a lot too, which is sometimes why you may feel like a different person during ovulation and a completely different person on your period. Your brain changes like crazy. So during your flow, your right side of your brain and your left side of the brain is actually the most similar, which is why you may be more intuitive. You may be reading into situations a lot, because you're picking up on these different nuances that you're not picking up on in other phases of your cycle, but also way more sensitive than other phases of your cycle. So what I recommend too, if you're someone who's particularly moody during this time, is writing it all out versus blowing up on the people that you love that are around you. Just write it out, journal. Journaling's gonna help a lot. And then once you're done with the bleed and you're in your follicular phase, then you can look back at your list and be like, do these things still bother me? And if they do, then it's like, okay, this is something to bring up with my parents or with my partner or with my best friend or my boss, you know? And then you're able to do it when you have the power of your follicular phase and you're more charismatic versus you're just moody. So cycle syncing, it's amazing. It's part of who you are as a woman. And when you learn about your body and how different chemicals and hormones affect it, it's fascinating. And you even will learn how you should exercise for each phase of your cycle, because each phase is very different and requires different types of exercise. You'll learn how to eat during your cycle. Like you'll be just like, you know, you crave chocolate when you're PMSing or you're super extra hungry. You'll realize why. You'll realize that some cravings actually are signs of nutrient deficiencies. And so if you supplement with like magnesium or iron or something, then those cravings will go away. See, cycle syncing is life-changing. And I'm so happy that getting off birth control effed up my body, because it gave me the opportunity to actually learn about this stuff and basically heal my body. And now I'm in a much better place than I was before. So cycle syncing is something that is health related that will totally help you activate your feminine energy if you're feeling disconnected from it. Alrighty friends, so those are 5 ways to activate your feminine energy. And again, these are healthy ways. Thanks for listening if you made it this far. This is my favorite topic. I love talking about health and cycle syncing and toxic products and all of that kind of stuff. So if you made it this far, you are a real one. If you like these types of videos, go ahead and give it a like. Hit the subscribe button and comment any questions you have down below, as well as video requests, because each week when I film, I'm like, what do the people want to see? So if you're watching this, let me know what types of videos you guys want to see. Alrighty, I will talk to you later. Bye.